Hello and welcome to our monthly market update. My name is Vatandoust, broker with the Vatandoust search team at Keller Williams Energy.
And Doug Sears, sales representative with the Vatandoust search team as well.
Great. So we just had the numbers released by Toronto Real Estate Board and Durham Region Real Estate Board. And as usual, we are here to go over the numbers and statistics and what the market is doing. Now, this is for month of February of 2021. So if you look at the first graph, it shows you the number of homes that sold in Durham Region. And we can see the red line, which is representative of 2021, 1,384 homes sold in February, which was a great increase over January, but more significantly over last year, the same month, February, was 56% increase. So it went from 890 in 2020 to 1,384 in 2021. And last February was normal situation. COVID hadn't arrived yet. And so we are comparing apples and apples. Now, if you go to the prices, and Doug, if you could talk about the prices, what they've done in February.
Yeah, so in February of this year, the average price in the Durham region was $895,441. And that was a 2% increase from January of this year and a whopping 36% increase from 2020. We have been seeing significant increases in the average price, as you can see in the blue line, which was 2020. The latter half of the year, we started to see some big increases with a significant increase in January and continuing into February. So Masood?
Yeah, so if we look at the third graph, which we generally look at, and this is the cause and effect of the effect we see in the prices, is actually the ratio of sold to new listings coming on the market. And as we can see from the graph, both January and February, about that ratio was about 70%, which puts us well into the seller's market, and hence the prices keep going up. But we feel that things are slowly changing, and I'll let Doug explain more about that, what's happening in the market.
Yeah, so we've had a very, what I would call, interesting market over the last period of time, with very intense and very competitive, with multiple offers, tons of showings. And so we've seen the beginnings of a little bit of moderation, but still very busy. For example, the days on market, like the average number of days that a listing is on the market before it sells, dropped from 12 days to 7 days from January to February. And even that number is a little bit inflated because a standard marketing strategy is to hold off offers for 4 or 5 days. So you're almost guaranteed to have those types of days on market. But we are starting to see a little bit of a shift, less intense activity, some decreased number of showings, decreased number of offers. However, pricing has remained strong, even as the showings and offers have dropped. Instead of getting 16 offers, you might only get 2 or 3, but the net dollars for the sale of the price has continued to remain strong, as you would have seen in the average pricing chart. One of the interesting things as well is, as Masood reviewed the ratio chart, is we're seeing an increased amount of inventory on the market, and that is certainly helping to reduce that intensity because there's just more options for the buyer. And so it may be a little bit of good news for buyers in the sense that it's not quite as intense, but certainly pricing has remained strong for the sellers.
Yeah, and primarily the reasons, as we've indicated before, the couple of reasons. One is that all the millennials, which are reaching 25 to 35, are buying their first home. and there is that is a large cohort that are now buying their first home. Plus the interest rates being so low, obviously that drives the demand up. So those are two of the main reasons. And then the other thing is people coming out of and coming to Durham region and discovering Durham region and the prices here, which are still very affordable and ideal homes for them with backyard and larger homes and so on. So those are some of the reasons why we see the activity that we are seeing in the market.
Yeah, and I mean, similar to what we talked about last month and what you just described with as a result of COVID, with some of the shifting work environment structures, work from home is increasing and growing. There will obviously be a return to the offices and work environments as we get to the other side of COVID-19. But there will still be an increased amount of people that will be able to continue doing that. And we are seeing that with that increased move from Toronto to outside of Toronto and Durham, on top of the cost effectiveness that you described, Ms. Hood, and is just continuing to increase that upward lift in the pricing. A lot of times I hear people say the prices are so high, they can't stay like this, for those that have lived in Durham region for a long time. But you hear people coming from Toronto going, oh my gosh, this is so inexpensive relative to what they're used to seeing in other areas within the GTA. So certainly anticipate that the pricing and will stay strong. You know, our crystal balls are as good as anyone else's, but certainly see that as you know, being up in this type of pricing for the next period of time.
Great. Well, thank you for watching our e-newsletter. And if you have any question or requirement for if you're thinking of selling or buying or want to know the value of your home, please feel free to give us a call. The number and all the details are at the bottom of the newsletter. So feel free to give any of us a call and we'd be happy to sit down with you either on Zoom or person and discuss your particular situation. Yeah, take care and we'll talk to you next month.